Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing the July love reading for the sign of Taurus. I had intended to live stream and I did start earlier, but it didn't, my live stream wasn't working out and there was too much latency issues, so I decided to stick with the regular format and upload the video. So here we go. We're going to get right into it, Taurus. We get 2 cards today. For July, in the area of love, show us what's going on with Taurus. Show me. Alright. Taurus, your first card for July is codependency. Wow. Alright. And worth waiting for. Interesting. So codependency and worth waiting for could be dealing with 2 relationships, could be dealing with codependency in your life, right? And trying to eradicate that in order to bring your lover in, your person. At the bottom, we have retreat. So I almost want to say that these are almost the exact same cards that I pulled, I think, the other week for one of the weeklies. But let's get right into it. We're not going to really know what these cards truly mean until we get the spread out. So let's see what it's all about for you guys today, Taurus. Codependency, worth waiting for, retreat. Wow. All right, what's going on with our lovely Taurus sign of the bull, earth sign, elemental, for July 2019? Show me. Show me what's going on. I want to know, Taurus. I want to know reaffirmations, affirmations, warning signs, what to look out for this July. What's going on in their general love life? I'd like for this to be a clear reading for those who are tuning into this video, whether they be subscribers or non-subscribers. Those of you who are just surfing the web today, you happen to arrive here. Give me a clear message for all my viewers, okay? Something that each and every one of the Tauruses watching this video can relate to in some way or another. Show me. All right, Taurus. Let's see what it's hitting for. Your first card out the gate, 8 of Wands, 8 major arcana, and 2 high priestess. So 8 is number to do with strengths and weaknesses, boundaries, right? Putting boundaries in place, criteria for being in relationships. We got King of Wands, 7 of Cups, wow, and the Tower. All right, and then we have the Devil down here, Knight of Wands, and Queen of Swords. Interesting. 9 of Pentacles at the bottom. Wow. All right. Nine of Pentacles. I love this Pentacles card, right? So the figure here, she's in a garden, right? But she's alone in the garden, right? She's surrounded by abundance, right? She's kind of, she's learned all of the lessons, all of the steps along the way, and she's now at the 9, right? But 9 is the number for being alone and being solitary, doing self-improvement, your relationship to yourself, how you see yourself. And 9 of Pentacles is very much the point in your life where you, yes, you've learned everything about manifesting your abundance, but now the final thing to learn is that truly to enjoy your abundance is to share it, with someone, is to not be alone in that. Sometimes money can isolate us from others. It can separate us from others. Sometimes, you know, we grow apart from friends because our paths diverge, and some friends, you know, it's their success and their the money, that the abundance that they bring in, perhaps their status in society, right? That kind of has not, I want to say caused a rift, but maybe separated them, maybe, right? Isolated them from others. This can be also individuals who are very wealthy or very famous sometimes, right? And so aren't really able to fully enjoy all of this because part of it is this kind of natural isolation that is there, natural separation from others, just as a virtue of the status, right, of the money, because not everybody has the same level of finances and abundance that you do. All right, so this is the energy here, but it is, you know, it's just understanding that you want to share what you have with someone who's worth sharing it with. You know, you've worked very hard for your garden. It's now time to kind of open up your heart to someone to come in and share that with you. Right. So right now, 8 of Wands. Let's get right into it. You've got 8s out the gate, 2 of them back to back. Really talking about, 8 of Wands talks about a lot of information coming in, chaotic information. It can be a lot of opinions, right? This is when people, a lot of opinions come in, a lot of options can come in. This can also be sometimes when you get like a creative burst, right? And suddenly you have all of these various ideas. This can be kind of unfocused though, right? This is unfocused energy. You know, it's kind of manic. It can be all over the place, right? And part of what, you know, what the warning is here is to learning to calm down, to focus, right? To be discerning, right? So that you can pick which of these objects or options or messages or ideas are worth pursuing. You can't possibly pursue all of them, right? It can also be a lot of communication coming in from a lot of different people. It can, 8 of Wands can sometimes indicate when you're hearing a lot of different stories from different people, and it's difficult for you to decide who is telling the truth, right? So this could be friends or family, you know, and they're coming into you and they're like, you know, they're telling you all kinds of information about perhaps a scenario or a situation with someone. And it's like, you're not, you know, you don't know who to believe, you know. It's just fast energy. It's very fast energy. And being an 8, which talks about, like I said, boundaries and discipline and focus, right? It really requires you to pay attention right now. 8 of Wands is very much a case of pay attention to what's coming in. Pay attention to all of the different messages coming in. Pay attention to the different options, the different people who are voicing their opinions, right? If this is a case of you also like feeling quite manic within yourself, having a lot of ideas and not being able to choose one, take time to focus, you know, go off on your own perhaps. Just don't make any hasty decisions. You know, 8 of Wands can certainly warn against hasty decisions. And here you go straight into another 8, 8 of the major arcana, which is like your strength is being tested in certain ways. Certainly with the codependency card coming out, it can be that things are happening right now in your relationship, right? Or your relationships that are testing your strength, that are testing your resolve, right? Could be a lot of stress right now coming in as well. This 8 of Wands could be a lot of stress, or a lot of responsibility, or people wanting a piece of you. And it's really making you feel like, you know, how can I handle this? Am I strong enough to handle this? You know, like 8 of Wands is like, you know, I don't want to panic. I don't want to freak out. I don't want to react. I want to be strong. I want to handle this. I don't want to sort of give into my weaknesses and go back to my dependencies, right? Can be also someone coming into you. This could very much be someone that you've already been dealing with, a past relationship, and they're kind of bombarding you, right? And they're like, look, talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. Text messages, calls, right? And you're like, nah, I want to be strong, right? I want to be strong, and I don't want to go back to that, you know? Codependency is never positive. You know, it just isn't. You know, it's not a healthy state to be in. So, you know, when somebody comes forward to you with that kind of, you know, this is probably going to be their MO. Because most of the time, people are pretty predictable. Certainly, people who vibrate at a lower frequency, you know what I mean? People who perpetrate codependent relationships, right? Then they're not that creative about their methods. They pretty much stick to the same playbook. You know, everybody has their playbook. I'm not saying everyone's is the same, but most often than not, people will tell you what they're like. They're fairly predictable. And certainly people who are weak in a sense that that people who are like in that misery loves company want to perpetuate a codependent relationship with you, someone who is not good for you, that person is going to exhibit the same types of behavior patterns. They're just, it's just not possible, for them to be clever or evolved enough to change that. Because if they change that, then they wouldn't be like that. Do you see what I mean? So it's by necessity, these type of individuals usually follow very much the same MO. And you're this time like, look, no, I don't want to give in. You're holding on to your strength. You're holding on as well to your high priestess. Your high priestess, your gut is telling you something. Your gut, your intuition, right? Could be that perhaps in the past you may not have listened to it. Now you're listening to it, right? Now you're listening, and now you're saying, you're being a little bit more discerning. You have a lot more confidence in your intuition. You have a lot more confidence in your gut feeling. This is the highest card in the deck in terms of self-esteem and self-confidence. When you truly 120% trust your own intuition, that's a lot of self-confidence, right? I mean, it's when we doubt ourselves that we falter, right? And a lot of people are like, well, how can I be confident? Like, how do I cultivate that? The first step to cultivating confidence is trusting your inner voice. Listening to your inner voice, not doubting that voice inside of you, right? This is an excellent time for you right now, Taurus, to increase your self-esteem, right? You got a King of Wands coming in here, right? And I wonder if this is another individual for you, right? Because King of Wands energy is very passionate. All right, he's very bold. He's very passionate. He's quite independent, right? He has wisdom. Salamander salamander is also down at the bottom of the card, is also a symbol of the fire and coming through the fire, being reborn through fire, through creativity, right? And being born through difficult times in our life where we have learn to come up with creative solutions, positive solutions to take us through. The King of Wands, he can see, he can see his goals and his visions, right? He can see where he wants to be. He's very ambitious. King of Wands is the ambitious king. He's not necessarily so much the family man. And he's not so much the industrial man, the business-minded kind of man like the King of Pentacles. But he is extremely ambitious, He's the one who may work on a project that no one believes in but him, and he'll see it through. And then later on, people will be like, wow, he said he was going to do it, and he did it. Very, very confident. Now, you coming out of this period, this kind of period with this individual, I almost feel like this is just kind of leftover. This is like a leftover from a previous relationship, and this kind of strength. If you can stay in your Leo, which is, of course, 8, strength is Leo, stay in that and make sure you don't go back to that codependency. Your self-esteem, especially your trust in your intuition, is going to increase, bringing in this individual who's going to be kind of looking like, I think you may catch their attention, catch their eye, all right? And here we go with wishes, 7 of Cups, wishes in relationships, wishes in love for things that make us feel good, right? So coming in as a result of this self-confidence, I believe, and possibly of this individual looking at you, I feel like perhaps, when this individual looks at you, male or female, it doesn't matter. It's almost as if this type of person has never really looked at you before. Or it can be that before maybe you didn't have this type of confidence or this self-esteem, right? And what I mean is like, if you think that you're just poly purebred, like really plain Jane, and somebody like Robert Redford looks at you, that, you know what I mean? That's a very crude example, but that's what I mean. It's like when we see ourselves with a lack of self-confidence, a self-esteem, which we all go through in our lives, right? We choose certain kinds of partners. We choose the type of people that we believe we're worth and that are worth us, right? We value people at different levels, certainly. You look at one person, you may say, well, that guy's never going to look at somebody like me. That guy's never going to be interested in somebody like me. Usually, you know, you would, you know, if you're at the right place with yourself, you'd be like, well, I wouldn't necessarily be interested in a person like that either, right? However, it's when we have low self-esteem and low confidence and low, just low confidence in ourselves, right? It could be that you may want that type of individual, but you feel that type of individual would never want you. And I feel like this is the type of, this King of Wands is the type of individual that up until now you may have believed at one point in your life that you would never have attracted, or that this type of individual would never have looked at you, right? This type of very ambitious, successful, driven individual, right? But the strength that you are building as you come out of this really chaotic energy and you face up to this chaotic energy, and the self-esteem that you're building out of it will make, it's that kind of work that we do in ourselves that open up opportunities, and that open up doors, and it opens us up to relationships with all different kinds of people. And suddenly here we have somebody looking, paying attention that you perhaps thought you'd never catch that person's eye. And now here you come to Seven of Cups, and now your world kind of opens up. Possibilities open up for you now, right? Possibilities that maybe before you didn't think were for you. You know, there's a lot of dreams. We daydream. You know, I think everybody at one point or another has daydreamed about a life that they know full well they would never have. They could never have. That they couldn't have in this life. It's not negative. It's not, meaning, it's not, that doesn't mean that you're like, you know, this whole idea, well, you can make whatever you want. You know what I mean? Life is reality too. There's, you know, we got to cope with reality, you know, and this, you know, this incessant kind of like idea, certainly in this country where we tell people all the time, like, you could just be whatever you want to be as long as you keep working hard at it. Well, guess what? Life isn't like that. It's not that simple. You know, it just isn't that simple. There are times in our lives where certain opportunities are open to us and certain opportunities are not open to us. You know, if you've hit hard times and you have an alcohol problem, or maybe a shopping problem, or something that's causing you to live in a very kind of like unhealthy way. You may not have a lot of money. You may be struggling. You're not going to get a job as the head director of a theater company. Do you know what I'm saying? You may wish that. You may have always wanted to be that. But if you're not in the right place, you can wish and want all you want for that. And it's not going to come true, you know. And working hard for it involves so much more than just working towards that. It means working on your life. But now these options are opening to you. Options you thought were never possible for you, perhaps. Relationships that perhaps you thought you might not ever be able to have. They're opening up to you, and you're starting to dream a bit more. You're starting to fantasize a bit more. Your fantasies are starting to feel like, well, maybe this could come true, right? Maybe this could come true, but there's a Tower moment coming for you, right? There's a Tower moment coming for you, and I think this is going to be a testing period for you. You know, because you have the Devil also coming in after that. Right, and down here as well, the Devil is, so you've got King of Wands in the middle. On top, you have this energy coming in, trying to pull you back. And then underneath, you have kind of almost the same with the Devil, tempting, 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 right? But the Tower is here, and it almost seems as if there's going to be some kind of major moment, I believe, right? Where you really, it could be that where you're really kind of closing off this previous relationship. So what I mean, it could be that your Tower moment could be finally really shutting the door on this past relationship, this relationship that was maybe very codependent. And what I mean in the sense of like talking to them in a way you've never spoken to them before, maybe cussing them out, getting all your stuff, moving out. You may have never done all of that. You may have never completely severed the cord, right? But now you're doing it. Now you have the confidence, right? You've got High Priestess in your conscious mind. And you have suddenly, especially with the possibility of new dreams, this kind of like excitement here, you see kind of almost the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. It's giving you so much energy to finally tear down this tower. When I say a tower moment for you, this is a tower moment of your own doing. This is not necessarily something that's happening to you. This is you tearing down your own tower. Ripping down your own tower. Going back to whoever these individuals were who have kept you in this kind of codependent relationship with this constant chaotic desire to have your attention, try to get your time, right? You're going to totally, hopefully will cauterize this completely. Certainly with the devil coming in, this, you know, you see it. You see them also coming towards you, wanting a piece of you. The more you get happy, the more you get the more you evolve, the more self-confidence you have coming. It's almost as if their temptations come in harder and harder and harder. It's like they just won't relent. And the only way you're going to get any peace, I'm talking about, for instance, if you have like one of these on and on again, off again relationships with a person who's like really toxic for you, right? And they might not have been in your life for a little while now, most recently, the most recent breakup, right? But they see you, they've started to be asking for your time, right? They've come in with the, hey, baby, you know, you got some time for me, you know, and it's like now you're resisting, right? You're resisting, and they're noticing that, right? And as they notice you resisting and showing more self-confidence, it's almost as if they're getting even more panicky, and now they're kind of like, oh, man, you know, now they're coming to you with stuff that that in the past would definitely have gotten you running. For instance, baby, I got hurt. Can you help me out? I'm hurt. Or I'm in a jam financially. Can you help me out? These guys are after me. Or I'm about to be evicted. You know, I couldn't tell my landlord. You know, I couldn't get my bills together. Could you help me out? You know, it's like now they've really ramped up, you know, this kind of behavior that normally would have gotten you and sucked you right back in. They're playing on your heartstrings in a really hard way now, right? And you need, and by necessity, you're having to do this tower with them. You're having to tear down this relationship you have with them. Tearing down the tower, meaning tearing down this understanding that they have of you and that you've allowed them to have of you. Meaning you cannot any longer come to me. You cannot any longer play on my emotions like this. It's not going to work. Right? Because the tower represents a system of beliefs. It represents your beliefs about something. So they have a certain set of beliefs of you, of how you're going to react in certain scenarios, right? That's what the manipulation is all about, right? So they size you up, they figure out how you react, and they build their little tower, right? They believe they build their little tower on what they think they know about you, right? And this is the basis of your relationship with this person. And this could be a toxic relationship, right? That's built up. The tower could be built up on all kinds of effed up stuff, right? But it has been built with them and you know, you kind of, you know, always reaffirming the way they expect you to act and them always manipulating you. But when you tear it down, it's like you don't act like that. You break that system of beliefs for them. You kind of break out the mold that they've almost set for you, and it blows their mind. It blows their mind. And you got Knight of Wands coming in here, interestingly enough. I almost feel like this is you, Taurus, moving forward. This is your forward moving energy now. You're getting some momentum. I think it's going to, it's like the ball's rolling, right? You want to get on your path. You finally, like this, you know what I mean? This being at the bottom here of your wish fulfillment, right? This King of Wands has come in, they're interested. They see, you know, this person is in or around. And now, as you've torn down this tower, hopefully, and I think that I hope that you do this, Taurus, because whatever relationship this tower was built on was unhealthy for you, right? But now you're ready to move forward. You might even be ready to move forward to your King of Wands. Your self-esteem and confidence as a result of all of this may have increased to such a degree that you're actually willing to make the first step towards your King of Wands. And when you do that, you're able to kind of be very magnanimous and very honest about it. Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords energy is beautiful energy. It's also like very honest energy. Being honest with yourself, with who you are. Could be that you go forward to your King of Wands. Like I said, male, female, it doesn't matter. But you go forward to them because you want to go get closer. You want to communicate with them, and then you just have this very open and honest communication with them, which is the essence of the Queen of Swords. Because you want, you know, coming out of this period, you feel very, very self-confident, Taurus. Very self-confident. Your self-esteem goes through the roof. You trust yourself. You know, with the High Priestess above and the Queen of Swords underneath and the Tower in the middle, it's like you just, you know what I mean? It's like you're a whole new person. And you're leaving whoever you had this codependent relationship with in the dust. Show me what's going on with that lovely, lovely Taurus. Give me a deeper understanding of the spread. Show me. Show me. Now, whatever it is that caused you to get stronger, this is whatever work you've done previous to this, right? I don't know what that work is for you, Taurus. It's different for everybody. I don't know what led up to that, right, for you. Could be just you did shadow work. You just did, you know, working on yourself. It could have been a series of events or experiences that you had that caused your, you know, your strength and so, you know, your strength and your belief in yourself to increase, right? Whatever that is, that was before now. This reading is about now, the aftermath of you employing this newfound strength and dealing with previous relationships that up until now you were not strong enough to really deal with in closing. All right, so this is now putting everything you've learned about yourself in play. Upside down. We don't read Thoth upside down. Ace of Wands. Four of Cups, the Hermit. There you go. So that was it. That's what you did. You went away. You did some spiritual work. Four of Wands, Nine of Cups, another nine. Six of Wands, Aeon, otherwise known as Judgment, Knight of Swords, and Eight of Cups. Wow, beautiful. Ace of Cups. So there's your love interest that's worth waiting for. It's going to come in for you as a result of all of this. Yeah, inspiration has come in, right? So Eight of Wands, it's a whole new way of dealing with this, right? So this energy, this chaotic energy, these messages, these texts, this desire to have a piece of your time or your energy, right? It's like you're dealing with this in a whole new way. Your fire is totally different. You're coming in with Ace of Wands, which is a whole new kind of fire that you're coming into dealing with this energy with. They're both wands, and that's fine. But your energy is completely new. It's something totally new, and it's something that this individual who's coming in with this is not at all used to from you. Four of Cups talking about, yeah, you're no longer willing to accept your shallow cups, these empty cups. You're no longer willing to accept unstable relationships, the instability and codependency, right? This individual is coming back with the same old shit, and you're saying, no, I'm too strong now. I don't want it. All right. You realize that there's transformation here coming through. You realize that if you turn your head away from what is empty and doesn't really serve you, there's a seed of transformation there where you can go to a more stable relationship, where you can be more stable in your relationships. Sometimes this energy can be stubborn energy. It's when you wait too long, you're unwilling to listen to anybody, or you're unwilling to accept an offer of love. But oftentimes than not, this card will come up when somebody is trying to offer you kind of like an empty cup, really. They know they don't have anything really to offer you, but they're trying to offer you a pretty looking cup, and you see right through it and you're not going for it. There's your nine, another nine. Remember I said nines are all about solitary work, self-discovery. This is the source of your High Priestess. You have certainly done some kind of, up until now, some kind of previous, some kind of shadow work, some kind of real digging in yourself. It could have been rehabilitation. You may have gone to therapy. You may have spoken to a counselor, right? You may have gone for counseling. You may have gone on a retreat of your own. You may have gone on a spiritual retreat or a nature retreat. Whatever your path was, it was a conscious decision for you to get healthy spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. And it's worked. And now, this is the aftermath of it. employing this newfound strength, which is very, very beautiful. Your love, of course, is worth waiting for. That's one of the romance angel cards coming out. And here's your retreat. The retreat was necessary for you to get here. The retreat was the hermit energy, right? So 4 of Wands is coming out on your King of Wands, right? So this is what I'm saying. It's like you're calling in the King of Wands. 4 of Wands, a lot of people say this is soulmate energy, 11-11, but it's, you know, 4s are stable, stability, right? The ram and the dove are in the relationship in equal measure. Love and forward action. It's Venus in Aries, which means, you know, pushing the boundaries of love, expanding your love and your relation to each other to such a degree that the stability endures. And so oftentimes this can be a relationship that lasts many years, or a relationship that has lasted over lifetimes, a soulmate. And I believe this King of Wands could very well be that as you finally tie off this old karma. 9 of Cups, right? Coming in over that wish fulfillment, that 7 of Cups, that desire. Yeah, you're suddenly you're fantasizing. It's coming close. It's happiness. It's your happiness, right? Your happiness is coming in line with some of your really kind of most, you know, your fantasies, your daydreams, right? They're starting to come together. They're starting to align in the sense that your daydreams, your real kind of fantasies about what kind of life or love you could have are becoming a reality here. You know, a possibility now. The Tower is in. So this is your victory. So this is what I'm saying as well. This Tower moment is your victory. 6 of Wands is a victory. Jupiter and Leo. It's a little victory. It's a little but it's a recognizable victory. It's not a solitary in your room like, oh yeah, me, myself, and I, we know we won. Everybody sees it. They notice it. So when I say this Tower moment is you're instigating this consciously by tearing down this relationship in the sense of what it used to be, this old, whoever this person is who used to be able to come in. The victory that comes out of it is really beautiful, and then you only just increase your self-esteem even more. People notice you. Could be that people give you a confirmation, reaffirmation, accolades, you know, a vindication, like, wow, you know. They let you know that, wow, you did a good thing. You did right. You did the right thing. You know, you did a good thing by yourself, you know. They're proud of you. Could be that family members are proud of you, that people you know of, close friends. Could be friends who for a long time told you to get rid of this individual and now very proud of the fact that you've done it, you know, or that you stood up to somebody who's been negative in your life. It's just a nice little victory, all right? And it just increases your self-esteem even more. And then you let go of judgment. Whatever lingering judgment you had as a result of this relationship, and judgment and guilt is one of the ways that people manipulate us, of course, right? Certainly in toxic relationships, but you're letting go. In fact, you're even letting go of the guilt of ever being with this person in the first place, right? And dropping that baggage, and Aeon is judgment in the sense that it's the all-seeing. It's the seeing everything from all sides and understanding that we are human, and that really most of our weaknesses and most of our misery, right, comes from our own sort of making. It comes from guilt trips we put on ourselves, hang-ups we put on ourselves, insecurities that we perpetuate. And oftentimes as a result of someone who's tried to manipulate us, right? Codependent relationships. Now that you see it all for what it really is, and you stood up to this individual, you've gone through all of this work, you've done all of this self-help and this therapy and work on yourself, you now let go of the last step, number 20, which is just letting go of any old baggage. Their temptations can no longer have any sway over you. And you don't feel bad even for the times that you were tempted, because you realize you're only human. Knight of Swords. So like I said, you know, this is almost Knight of Wands. Your confidence has increased so much that you're moving forward towards, I believe, your person. Interestingly enough, Knight of Swords has come out on top of Knight of Wands. So you're certainly moving forward. You're certainly having a lot of forward momentum. You're ready for conversations. You're ready to take the lead, right? I think these nights are both you. I think this is very, you know, you almost feel like so excited to get on with your life because you're like so happy. You know, this toppling down of this tower is such a relief for you, and you're so like exuberant right now and ready to move forward. So you want to come in with passion. You're coming in with passion and communication, right, to your person. Queen of Swords. And here we go. That conversation as well that you want to have with your... So this is your momentum of how you're moving, right? How you want to move forward. But this is how you're coming to your King of Wands. You're coming to your King of Wands as a Queen of Swords with full honesty. You know, looking at each other, wanting to be honest in all things. You don't want to hold anything back. I think that you feel like this is certainly a big love coming in, and you realize this was the love that was worth waiting for this whole time, doing all this work for. And as a result, hello again. Sorry about that. My camera cut off, and I took the opportunity to kind of get the cards a bit closer anyway so that you could see the whole spread, because I could see that you couldn't see the whole spread. So anyway, we're just going to end on this last one. Queen of Cups coming, Queen of Swords, right? So when I said that you're going to be embodying very much a Queen of Swords energy when you have any kind of communication or conversation with your King of Wands, right? It's with the aim of setting boundaries right from the start, right? Eight of Cups talks about setting boundaries right away, expectations, right? So that you don't get to this place again where you're fed up, where the relationship isn't really going the way you need it to go. You know what I mean? Where it's just like you're not getting back the same amount of feedback that you're putting in. So at the very outset, if you take heed of the Eight of Cups lesson, 8 again being the number of boundaries, right? Strengths and weaknesses, it's like putting those boundaries in place, those criteria, you know, talking to your possible lover or new relationship and expecting a certain amount from them, right? Not just that they can act any old way or carry on any old way, but that you have a certain criteria for somebody to fulfill in order for them to be part of your life now, right? And they just have to fulfill these various requirements, I would say, right? In terms of, you know, someone who isn't going to get into a codependent relationship. You know what I mean? Certain criteria, certain boundaries. You know, if you don't want to move in with somebody, letting them know from the outset, look, I'm not into moving in with anybody right now. You know, just getting clarity on what kind of rules and regulations they need to live by and you are willing to live by so that you can have a really positive relationship. And I think that that's why this Queen of Swords energy is so strong coming forward, because you're very insistent after all of this work to get it right from the start. All right, so I'm going to call it, that's it. That's your love reading for July, Taurus. So if this resonated with you, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, and share. This is a really great reading about a Taurus out there. He's doing a lot of shadow work, a lot of healing, and now is the time to kind of put in play everything that they've learned and try to have those new conversations with old people that take them to a new place, all right? I love you so much, Taurus. You guys take care, all right? Bye-bye. Have a great July.